Napa know-how.
A Napa guy knows the only way you'd give a freshly minted driver a brand new car is if he promises to never drive it. Instead, let him grind the gears and knock over the neighbor's mailbox in something a little more suited to his skill level. And with over 500,000 parts and a little Napa know-how, he can safely drive something that's nearly as old as he is. It's not perfect, but it's perfect for him. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how. We are the New York Knicks. I'm back. Back in New York. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no shorts, it's like winter. New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K. Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
It is the New York Knicks podcast, episode 322. I am Jay. How you doing, Mark?
I am doing all right.
You know,
Go.
I feel like we did an episode like 2 days ago, and that's just because it's been such a fun week. It kind of made the week blow by.
It's been a bizarre. The Knicks, they were 2-1 this week. They beat the Hawks, they beat the Heat, and they lost to the Spurs. And I wasn't even upset about the Spurs loss because the Knicks had played so well that I felt like we've turned some kind of corner that I'm feeling so good about this team right now.
Well, I mean, the Spurs were 21-0 at home. The Knicks lost by a point, and they had the final shot, which was a pretty good look. So you can't really complain about that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really believe in moral victories, but if there was such a thing, that was definitely it.
On the other hand, I've also gotten to the point as a Knicks fan where I'm almost okay with the us losing a game against. Like, if you're a Warrior fan, obviously a totally different story. But you'd be like, "Oh, we lost to a very good team. That sucks."
Mm-hmm.
But here, I'm like, "Oh, we lost to a very good team. Good for us."
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm totally fine with. I would rather have hit that Calderons, hit that shot. But it's been a heck of a week, and I feel like how I feel about this team, based versus like say 2 weeks ago, we had this terrible stretch of games coming up where everyone was really good, and the Knicks have played pretty well that whole stretch.
They did. We said they might go 3-2. And they were one shot away from going 4-0 in the first four. I'll take that any day.
Earlier in the year, I was convinced the Knicks had gotten to the point where if they was playing a bad team, the Knicks, even if they played down to their level, the Knicks would beat the bad team. Then if you played a team around their level, sometimes they'd win, sometimes they'd lose. But you played a better team, the Knicks would just lose.
Yeah.
And now I'm at the point where I'm thinking like the Knicks can beat some of these better teams.
Yeah, I mean they were so close against San Antonio. Do you want to just go through all the games?
No, I want to talk about them like just dance around and never really get to the games. It's also just progress. Let's do a little where are they now segment. Where are they now? Sasha Vucevic, whatever the hell you put last name. According to Ian Begley, after many, I know he's on the team still, but after many Knicks practices, Sasha has been on the last guy on the court, staying late to work on his shot with coaches, which scares the crap out of me because if you work hard, that usually leads to more playing time. But so far, it's led Sasha to be shooting only in practice, and that's what we want. Sasha, we want you to only expend energy in practice. Please never get on the court.
Well, I guess he's not going to get on the court again. You know what? This is what we were getting down on Fisher for the last couple of weeks. He has tightened that rotation to 8. And as soon as he did that, as soon as he acted like a real coach and got a real rotation, the Knicks started winning all the games.
They started doing some smart things, especially this week. You've seen it more than anything. And probably last week also to a certain extent. I think it's the early year he felt like I have to play Kyle O'Quinn or get Serafin in the game and one or the other. And now part of it he's realized that he can just leave Porzingis on the court and have him as your center for a while. And that made a huge difference. And the fact that he doesn't have to play 9 guys or 10 guys, you get the guys that are on the court get more minutes.
He's also been staggering Porzingis, where he played them with 4 bench guys last game.
A common rotation he's been doing now is when the starters are on, he pulls Porzingis early, and then he brings them and then when Lopez and Melo leave the floor, Porzingis comes back on the floor with the bench guys.
Right, which allows him to move Melo to the 4 and play Lance Thomas at the 3. It's almost like he actually learned something.
Yeah, he is looking like a better coach as of late. And just also, so there's an article by, did you see the Chris Herring article on the future? It was the Knicks' future Porzingis Grant coming into focus.
I did not see that, no.
So it was an article about how they wanted to see more Grant and Porzingis together. And he was pointing out that actually when Porzingis gets the ball from Grant, he has the highest shooting percentage versus when he gets the much higher shooting percentage versus when he gets the ball, say, from Calderon. Because Grant drives to the basket a lot more. He creates better looks for Porzingis. And it's working out well. And he feels, he made a point, I feel like the style of this guy who's a slasher, can drive to the basket, is going to work very well and can do a lot, work well in the pick and roll, works very well with a guy like Porzingis, more of an open game. It was something like he had said in the article, and this was earlier in the week, Porzingis has made 64% of the shots he's taken after receiving a pass from Grant.
I like that.
That's a pretty high percentage, and obviously that's not sustainable. But but also Fisher's also learning, and Fisher's doing a lot more of that. Now we're seeing Grant and Porzingis on the court more, which I am impressed that Derek Fisher can learn and adjust.
Yes. No apologies, because I think he cost us some wins, but we will give him credit for making these adjustments.
Well, people. That's one thing I keep hearing is that every time that Fisher is getting something right, they're like, well, yeah, but he should have made this adjustment earlier in the year. He's cost us wins, and now we're not going to make this seed in the playoff, or this is not going to happen. When I think really, is this season about making the 8th seed, or is this season just about improving for the long haul?
Why can't it be both?
It can't be both, Jay. It's a binary world. But also, I mean, to a certain extent, you don't know what you have in it earlier in the year. You didn't know you had Lance Thomas being. Wait, was one of us down on Lance Thomas and wanted him banished to the bench?
I didn't. I wanted him off the team.
Apologize to Lance Thomas right now, Jay.
We already did a whole episode about that.
But you didn't know what we had in the team, so he's kind of figuring that out. So he had to play more guys. Like last year, he played more guys and he was trying to figure stuff out. Then he just figured out he had a pile of trash. This year, he was figuring out he actually has some good players and figures out who plays well with what. And also, you had a bunch of guys that hadn't really played together, so you had to give them time to adjust. So I know people are saying like, "Hey, he cost us wins earlier in the year," but maybe some of the things he tried earlier in the year, experimented with, probably benefited us in the long run.
Yeah, definitely playing Sasha 25 minutes a game at the beginning of the year benefited us.
Well, I mean, to a certain extent, you want to at least try the piece of trash that Phil Jackson insisted on being on the team. You want to at least try him out. But you could have also said, like, why would you try Lance Thomas out? And he worked out. Why would you...
That's it.
Galloway looked terrible early in the year. You might have said to him, oh, Galloway, he should just bench him and never play him again. And Galloway's actually been pretty good. I mean, he's not good, but he's been a lot better than what you would have... He's been a ton better than last year. He's a serviceable backup. He's just not really a starter.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Our team would be worse without Calderon this year. Our team would be better if Sasha never came back from Europe. That's true also. So let's go to the games. You want to start in the Hawk game?
No, I want to start with the middle game and then go back to the Hawk game.
Okay, let's start with the Heat game.
Okay.
You can't not... Ooh, I need to make a sarcastic comment. Because Mark's a jerk. Mark's a jerk. I'll be a jerk.
I'm getting you back for your stupid top fives that start at number 1 and go to 5.
For those that listen to the Brink of Sanity, I drive Jay crazy on the Brink of Sanity with my top 5 list. We don't really do that. We haven't done any top 5 lists in a while on the Knicks show.
No, maybe we'll start that again next week.
Okay, top 5 Knicks starters. Okay, so the Hawk game, this game, we were like, well, the Knicks have 2 in a row against the Hawks. 2 home and what do they call it? A home and home, or
yeah, home and home.
Whatever. This one's Atlanta. Knicks won the first one. No shot winning the second one until the Knicks won the second one. What do you like about this game besides the Knicks won?
I liked this was this was a 9-man rotation, which is still fine. I think that's the max the Knicks should do.
Right.
Because that 9th man is Grant, and I think he does need to get some run.
Yeah, no, I like Grant getting I think 9 is a solid number. I think any more than 9 doesn't work, but I think getting Grant playing time is very important to the development of this team.
I liked Aflalo going off again. The Knicks are, I think we said this last time, they're like 13-2 when Aflalo gets over 20 points.
Well, it was great because Aflalo had gone off the game before, and you were like, well, that was Sunday's game, and you were like, well, they'll adjust to Aflalo, and the Aflalo will shoot 1 for 27, and we'll be screwed. Instead, Aflalo played well 2 games in a row, and I like the fact that so I was gonna say Stupid Hair McGee. We got an email. I'm not gonna say who it's from, but or I could say I don't remember who it's from. I think he asked me not to mention his name, but someone did not like the Stupid Hair McGee nickname for Derek Williams. Derek Williams played awesome. He's been a key bench player.
How do you not like Stupid Hair McGee? It's such a
he didn't like Stupid Hair McGee. They said what was the nickname that supposedly actually has? It was something like what's a better nickname for Stupid Hair McGee? He does have really stupid hair, so it seems pretty fitting.
Yeah. You keep going. I got the email up. Oh, Spark, which is a fair, accurate, less funny nickname. Yeah.
I feel like Stupid Hair Williams.
SHM, SHW.
Yeah.
Gilliam wrote, it was noticeable that Sasha played the triangle better than most other players. Now most players started playing it well. I think he actually really helped. So maybe there's some behind the scenes stuff that we didn't notice.
I don't know if whatever. Sounds good. Maybe he was just there to kind of show guys how to play and go hey guys, see everything Sasha did up to the point where he actually shot the ball. It was good. Try to emulate that but make them go in. He can't shoot.
Or maybe Sasha was like, well, I suck, but if I didn't, I would be doing this. And he showed them what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. By the way, the Knicks are currently playing the Bucks. You're not retaping the game, right?
No, I'm not.
Okay. They're currently playing the Bucks. When I tuned into the game, I missed the first quarter and a half. The Knicks were kind of tied, and now they've gone off, and now it's they're up by 14. So the Knicks are playing pretty well.
I like that. We said this the other week, too. When Melo gets over 5 assists, the Knicks almost always win.
Oh, so this is the week that Melo has really, he was doing it last week. He's doing it again. He has started really trusting his teammates, which has been freaking awesome. He got 7 assists in the Hawks game. He's making some really nice passes and setting his teammates up. And the best part is that he really does what you want from him. Even when he's not shooting well, he's a decoy. Everyone always thinks he's going to shoot, and he really can set his teammates up for shots. Mm-hmm. And a lot what you want more than anything, you want easy shots.
Yeah.
It's great if you can hit a 19-foot turnaround jumper, but if you could just get an easy layup, it's going to help you more in the long run. You use less energy, and it hurts more for the opponent when you're getting easy layups. But anyway, Stupid Hair McGee or Stupid Hair Williams has been a key bench piece. You have to admit that's been a good signing also.
Yeah.
There was earlier in the year you could have said he was playing poorly and we should get rid of him, but he's also his defense has been playing outside of the San Antonio game. His defense has been a lot better lately.
I think Fisher made it clear you're not going to get minutes unless you're playing good defense,
which is important because we almost forgot to mention Rocky IV.
Oh,
Porzingis,
yeah,
Bazemore. I will crush you, Bazemore.
Yes, Porzingis getting up in Bazemore's face. It was awesome.
That was, and Melo immediately you don't mess with our rook. I'll kill you. I'll cut you.
Yeah,
that was awesome. That was pretty awesome. That was nice team leadership.
This was also Hardaway's first game back since out of the D League.
He was 1 for 3, got 3 points. And we all now like Hardaway because apparently Hardaway got us Porzingis.
Somehow he was a plus 12, and the second best guy on the team was a plus 1. I don't know how that worked.
Yeah, that's just kind of a weird. The Knicks were up by a lot, and then the Hawks went on a run in the fourth quarter. Yeah. So probably related. Anyway, Knicks played pretty well. Outside of the Porzingis looked pretty good. He got 11 rebounds, 17 points. And even better, he almost ate Bazemore.
let's
anything
move
else in
on
this
to-
game?
No, let's move on to the Heat game.
Oh, also, you know what I like about this year
Hmm?
and versus previous years against the Hawks? Kyle Korver plays poorly against us now.
He has played poorly the entire season, and he's on my fantasy team.
What happened? He used to be. He was like a freaking amazing shooter for a while.
I think he hurt his back, and it never really recovered. And instead of just taking some time off, he's just playing. Like he was like what Melo did last year. Like, I'm hurt, but I'm gonna play at like 60%, and I'm just gonna play like crap.
You know what was also weird about this game? Calderon actually did a decent job guarding Jeff Teague.
He did.
Which is Teague is fast. Calderon is slow and doesn't play defense, so that's encouraging.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah, everything about this game was a good game. Excited. After the game was over, I knew we were going to play the Heat, and I was cool with the fact that Heat are just a better team than us, and the Knicks will clearly lose that game. But we beat the Hawks twice in a row, so I'm happy.
Yep. All right. Heat. This was the Heat saying, should we really pay Whiteside a lot of money when Robin Lopez gets almost 20 points against him?
And Robin Lopez saying, I eat Whiteside. Oh!
Yeah, I like that matchup.
Lopez just went to town on Whiteside.
Yeah.
I mean, Lopez was like, Whiteside, I'm taking money from your like grandchildren right now. You know the $100 million you wanted? I cut it by half right now.
The Knicks also held Dragic to 1 assist, which also really helped my fantasy team.
Remember we wanted to give Dragic a max deal?
I'm glad that the Knicks are playing well, but they're destroying my fantasy hopes this week.
Which has never happens.
No, I was expecting all these Knick effects to happen, and now I'm getting like 1 assist, 2 for 12 for Korver. It's really not good.
Dragic, what I heard that there was like some Heat fan had said that the problem with the Heat is that there aren't enough outside shooters, and they clog the paint. And Dragic is a great player, a great distributor, but the courts, they don't leave the floor open enough for him. If they had better shooters, outside shooters, he would be able to like play his all-star level. I don't know if that's true or not.
I can see that. There's really like their best 3-point shooter right now is what, Bosch?
Bosch is a good 3-point shooter. Wade is an okay 3-point shooter.
He's not very good.
He's okay. I don't know. I feel like if you're a really good point guard, you should be able to be a really good point guard.
Where are they now? Bino playing 12 minutes against the Knicks.
Good for you, Bino. Do they? Do you get to play with 3 other point guards? Do you get to play the 2 point guards on the lineup, Bino?
And Amari, who played 0 minutes.
By the way, Porzingis just had a putback for a dunk. It was nice against the Bucks.
All right. Wade is a lifetime 28.8% 3-point shooter.
Oh, I thought he was a little bit better. I guess he shouldn't be shooting. He should not be shooting 3-pointers again. You know, also should not be ever shoot a 3-pointer again. Derek Williams or Stupid Hair Williams. He's terrible. There are certain guys Stupid Hair Williams should only be cutting to the basket. He should cut to the basket, move away from the basket, cut to the basket. He should only be cutting to the basket.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he could hit some open shots, but he shouldn't be jacking up contested threes.
I don't think he should be hitting even open threes. He's not a good 3-point shooter. But this game, everyone in the starting lineup was. So this was the crazy thing. I guess Porzingis was 3 for 10, but everyone else was 9 for 12, 9 for 12, 4 for 5. Everyone shot really well in this game, which was the opposite of the San Antonio game. But the Knicks just outplayed. The Heat are arguably one of the top 5 defensive teams in the NBA. The Knicks just flat out outplayed them.
Yep.
So it's good weeks up to this point. And anything else you want to say about this game besides Lopez still finishing off Whiteside's bones as he eats them?
Nope.
Yeah. San Antonio.
Now, this was the opposite with Calderon, where he could not stay in front of Parker. Parker ran circles around him all game.
From my couch, I had the same exact ability to guard Parker as Calderon. It was just, I mean, all I was thinking was this game was, how much better would the Knicks be if they had Parker instead of Calderon?
Yeah, I mean, Parker didn't even, like, I feel like he was 7 for 16, but I feel like he was, like, 6 for 7 against Calderon and like 1 for 9 against everybody else.
I just feel like with the way he can get how fast he is and how good a distributor he is, he would work. If you got a guy like Parker on this team, it would work so well with this offense.
Yeah.
That would be the piece of the puzzle where you're like, okay, now we're a contender.
But this was the game that Porzingis absolutely went off, and it was against the best defensive team in the league.
So the weird thing in this game is that if you were a starter and you were 7 foot or above, you shot really well. If you were below 7 foot, you shot a combined 20%.
Yeah.
Weird. Carmelo has Kawhi Leonard always gives Melo fits, and he did again. Porzingis, I almost felt like the Knicks weren't giving Porzingis the basketball enough.
Yeah, they gave it to him a lot in the first half, and then it was kind of he went almost the whole third quarter without doing much until he started going off again in the fourth.
I mean, the Knicks, everyone under 7 foot shot horrendously. Basically, 2 of their best scorers played terribly. Their bench contributed almost nothing. They couldn't stay in front of Parker, and they lost by 1 point.
I'll take that.
Yeah, like with all the things that happened, like if Melo hits one more, if Melo goes 6 for 15 from the field, the Knicks win the game.
You also realize how deep the Spurs are. I mean, you're like, oh my God, the starting lineup's awesome. But then Ginobili comes off the bench and Diaw and Patty Mills, and you're like, holy crap. And then second quarter, like David West comes out of nowhere. I'm like, that's like their 9th man. It's insane.
Yeah, the crazy thing about it also is you pretty much have the Knicks are all been playing together for 2.5 months. The Spurs have been playing together for years now, have won championships together. And anyone that hasn't been playing with them was an all-star coming over from another team.
Right.
So it's a tough matchup for anyone. They're obviously a really good team. Knicks played well. So Derek Williams, or Stupid Hair Williams, he didn't get that many minutes in the game, but if you watched, he was getting eaten alive by Boris Diaw or anyone else, or David West, anyone else that wanted to go against. They kept when he was on the floor, San Antonio would direct all offense through him, and they were destroying him. So I get why he didn't play that many minutes.
Yeah.
I do find that sometimes the Knicks have trouble getting him the ball in transition or getting him the ball while he's cutting, and that if he's on the floor and you can't get him the ball while he's heading to the basket, then he's useless.
Yeah, I think Lance Thomas probably should have played more of that game.
Yeah, he played pretty well early on. Galloway is the one I feel like Galloway played really well and didn't get enough minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like not that Galloway can stop Parker either, but he would have a better shot at stopping Parker. So a lot of people were upset at the end of the game. End of the game, 2 things happened. So the Knicks were down. It was 197, right? Mm-hmm. And the off the timeout, the Knicks basically gave an alley-oop to Porzingis, who dunked it. And then the Spurs missed, and the Knicks had the ball with like 15 seconds left. And people were pissed that Derek Fisher didn't call a timeout. Were you pissed?
I'm like, well, he really should have called a timeout, and then I'm thinking he would have just called an ISO Melo anyway.
Yeah, it's not like the entire year he's been calling brilliant plays out of timeouts. The best player I had seen him call the entire year out of timeout was that dunk Porzingis just hit, and I feel like that was more of an accident than anything else.
Although I feel like most coaches would have called a timeout in that situation.
Do you think the timeout's overrated at the end of the games? Because if you call a timeout, yeah, you could drop a play, but the defense can also be set.
Yeah, but how many times has the Spurs drawn up a play and they score right away?
Well, yeah, if you have one of the greatest coaches ever, we have Derek Fisher.
Right. Yeah, I wasn't that mad. I mean, we ended up with an open 3-point shot. So,
I also think that if you did analysis, and I'm not going to stat guy, where are you? Of every time again at the end of games where timeouts are not called or when they are called, I bet the amount of times the shot actually goes in, it's about pretty equal. I don't think the timeout makes that big of a difference because, really, if the defense gets set, you're giving the Bucks just hit a 3, but still, Knicks are up by 10 still. If you give the defense a chance to get set, it's not like that. It kind of, at least the defense isn't ready. You might get a mismatch or something like that.
I'm just hoping that Melo's not you see, I passed at the end of the game and he missed the shot. Never doing that again.
I don't even think Melo wanted to pass. I think from what I was just kind of counting the number of people that are covering Melo at that point, and I think Spurs had an extra guy on the floor. 6 guys were covering Melo. He just had to pass the ball.
Yeah.
There was no way he was going to get that shot off. But people were like, oh, I can't believe he gave the Calderon. How could you have Calderon shoot? He's the worst guy. Calderon's probably one of the better the better shooters in the team, the better mid-range jumper or 3-point shooters in the team. Like who else? Is anyone else that much better of a shooter?
Calderon's our best 3-point shooter.
He's statistically throughout his career the best 3-point shooter on the team.
Yeah.
And generally, no one. Whether you think he should have gotten the shot or not, it's not like a Flowers a much better shooter. Melo's on a much better shooter. Porzingis isn't a much better shooter. So it was an open look.
Yeah.
So I can't be mad about that shot. What happened? I remember I was watching the game. The Knicks started down by 12 in the fourth quarter, and I was like, "Oh, forget this. The Knicks are about to lose. It's getting late." So I turned off the game. Then I went up the stairs, and then I turned on my phone while I was just brushing my teeth, and I was like, "Shit! How the Knicks just start? But the Knicks are actually coming back." And it was nice versus the Bulls game where the Knicks said, "Oh, you guys are starting to win. Screw it. You guys won the game." The Knicks I was also impressed the fact the Knicks didn't give up. They gave every effort.
Yeah.
So, by the way, Knicks are up 71-56 right now.
Sweet.
They're beating the Bucks because they're a better team than the Bucks.
Emails?
Yeah. Oh, well, we have to do the Beast reports.
Okay.
We said we would. Let's do the. So we got. Should we do our own or just do the listener one? Do you have the music?
I do. I'm pulling up the actual report, but in the meantime, I'll play.
Okay, we
Get ready for
Tale as old as time.
the Beast Report.
The Mark Carroll, the Beast. I haven't been on the show in a while, and I haven't been on the Raptors in a while. I'm helping the show and the Raptors about the same right now. The Mark Carroll. I'm not racist. Jay, you have questions for me, or am I just here for no reason? I'm on the Raptors for no reason right now.
No, I do have questions. I was pulling up my questions, and we jumped into the bit a little.
We were going to do the ones that we got sent later. This is just a plain old interview.
Oh, right. Our interview.
I
yes.
should have discussed this more with you before the show started.
Yeah, we're very organized here. So you hurt your paw.
I am out for the year. Raptors, congratulations. You got a big free agent signing for a couple of weeks. But I'll be back next year to be injured.
Okay, I got the these things up.
So we got a listener had sent us their own Beast reports. So we're gonna do listener submitted scripts. If you want to submit your own script, maybe they'll read it on the show.
And if you hate it, all emails can go to Grant.
This is the part where we just do, you wrote a script, you sent it to us, we're going to read it. Why not? If this is not good, we didn't write it, we just chose to read it. Okay, you want to do special edition of the Beast Report?
Yeah, I opened up the other one, so let me open up.
Oh, God, Shay.
Okay, I opened up special edition.
How excited is Steven that they got DeMar Carroll out for the year?
That was a great signing.
It's worked out really well. I bet if he was playing for them right now, they would be better.
Okay, I got the other one up.
Okay.
And now a special edition of the Beast Report.
Wooga! I am the only beast. I am the only beast formerly known as DeMar Carroll. Scooby-Doo!
I am the one and only beast formerly known as Lance Thomas.
Wait a minute. There could be only one beast in the NBA, like only one Highlander.
I can prove that I am the one and only beast.
How can you prove that?
Check out my stats. I average, I guess we're supposed to fill these in.
Just say blank.
Blank points, blank assists, and blank rebounds per game.
Oh, yeah. I average blank points, blank assists, and blank rebounds per game.
I'm loved by Knicks fans all over the world.
I'm loved by Steven.
I'm not even going to go there. You win. I'm leaving.
Okay. And there's a second one. I'm sure you guys are all enjoying this. The Beast Report. You can start it.
Are we
You
doing the
got it
second one
open?
too?
Okay. Hibernating is, I think it's the first time I'm reading this one. Hibernating is so hard when your paw and knee are hurting. Woo!
Oh, Scooby-Doo.
Try more of a Scooby-Doo. Try that.
Scooby-Doo.
My son watches Scooby-Doo a lot. Wait a minute. Who are you?
I am the Beast, Lance Thomas.
I can't be the Beast. I am the Beast. Yo, you can't be the Beast. I am the Beast, Damari Carroll.
I put up Beast numbers the last 4 games. What did you do the last 4 games?
I hurt my name, so I have been hibernating.
Where are you from?
I am from Toronto. Jay reads the script like he's just reading. You got to get into the role, Jay.
Where are you from? Toronto? Okay. You're 500 miles away from home.
How do I get to Toronto from here?
Follow the ocean going north, then make a left at Niagara Falls. If you pass by Manhattan, tell Jay that I accept his apology.
Scooby-Doo! And that was listener scripts. Go to questions.
Okay. The email address is thebrinkofsanity@gmail.com. Our first email is from Lorenzo.
Lorenzo writes,
Carmelo is swishing and dishing in this Hawks game. What if Melo becomes the new Magic Johnson and solves all our point guard problems?
I'm going to say that, he's not going to become the new Magic Johnson. He's right now, he's like averaging near his career best in assists, which is still awesome. But we still need a really good point guard, too. It's not going to solve. Having him pass it solves a lot, but we still need more.
Lorenzo also writes, I have a feeling that Melo will be the Knicks coach in 5 years' time. It's called the Magic Johnson plan, and with Melo becoming an assist machine, he's already begun. Step 1, lead the league in assists for a few years. I think we need to calm down about that. Step 2, bang a couple of groupies each night, every night. Stupid hair can help with this. Step 3, contract HIV, retire from the game.
Contract HIV. Carmelo, come on. Can you imagine like you're actually presenting this to him? Listen, Carmelo, we have an idea for your brand. Step 1, get those assist numbers up, lead the league. Step 2, you become what was step 2? I don't even know what step 2 was. Step 2, something
Bang a couple
happens.
groupies.
Step 2, bang groupies. You're liking this? Step 3, get HIV. I'm sorry, what? Will you bang groupies? No, what was number 3? No, number 4, you become coach. No, number 3. What was number 3?
Step 4, come back a year later for 10 games or so, then retire again. Step 5, come back a few years later as Knicks coach. It's great for his brand, and I can't see any problems with it.
Yeah, Magic Johnson got HIV and then got a show late night with Magic Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
So, Carmelo, if you want a late night talk show, get HIV.
Having a TV show is good for your brand.
Yeah. I think Charlie Sheen got HIV and then got a show, Anger Management, on FX, which probably didn't do that well, but I think he made a lot of money.
Jimmy writes, in 2 games versus Detroit and Chicago, Melo attempted 4 free throws, and 2 of those were 3-second violation shots. That means Melo was fouled on a field goal attempt 1 time in those 2 games. He currently averages 4.7 free throws a game. The league leader is Harden at 11.2. But look at Durant, 8.7, and LeBron, 8.1. Curry, who just runs around the three-point line, still averages 7.1. Kobe, who has to play basketball with a cane these days, averages 5.1. I don't understand, and it's not like Melo doesn't get fouled. He takes so much physicality every night. Is there anything behind this?
Yes, Melo has HIV. Paul just wrote us, hope you guys are watching this and not just doing the show. Well, Paul, it's just hard. Like, we can only do the night show on certain nights. The Knicks play on certain nights. The Knicks should have consulted us about our schedule. They should have said, we will not have a game on the nights you're doing shows. That would be a nice thing. The Knicks are rude.
Yeah.
By the way, the Knicks are playing awesome right now, and they're beating the crap out of the Bucks, which is pretty sweet.
Jimmy was asking.
Oh, are we doing a meetup, Jay?
Yeah, Jimmy was asking about a suite for the game. What we're going to do is have a meetup at a bar on the 29th, and then
we should start advertising this on the website.
We're gonna post stuff on the.
It'll probably be the exact same bar we went to last time.
On the Facebook.
Unless you want to do a different bar or the same bar.
I feel like there wasn't a good spot to get a group a big.
Jay will do research into a bar.
Okay, I guess Mark is not going to do research into a bar.
I don't know. I did research. I found that bar. You find another one.
Great. So
Did anyone have a bar to recommend around MSG where we can watch the game where you think is a better spot for a group?
Huge.
Well,
group.
the problem with that is that you either had to stand by the what would have worked actually if we gotten if we sat at the bar would have worked.
Well, then
then-
we all would have been in a straight line, and that's not really conducive to the whole point's to mingle while we're.
Okay, the only thing would have worked if we were all standing up. If we wanted to sit down, it doesn't work.
Unless we reserved a big table.
Right.
Because they told us we couldn't have more than 3 at the table, and we crammed 5 or 6 people in there. So
Yeah. So okay, we'll both do research. I'm sure my research efforts will be less intense than Jay's.
they were like, "You can't sit there," and we're like, "All right, we're just gonna sit here."
Well, I think the problem is in general, unless you got where are you going to get a big table for everyone to sit?
Well, no, I'm thinking of a bar with a room, just more space to stand, because that place you have to stand single file along the bar.
Okay, we'll do more research.
Well, Nick Fury is saying stout. We'll look into that. Wasn't that
Stouts? The one of the ones we talked about. Stouts are good. I think Stouts a big one for watching the game.
Okay, maybe we'll do stout.
Okay, if you think Stout's a good idea, tell us that. If you think Stout's not a good idea, tell us that. If you like to comment in the show, tell us about your comments in the show.
So anyway, if we get a turnout for the next meetup, then we're going to talk about renting a suite later in the season, because I think.
Well, we were talking about we're saying we're thinking about you rent a suite. We haven't looked at the price of it. We're guessing it was $1,000 or $2,000 or.
Yeah, but that's just a blind guess.
Yeah, we have no.
We just
no
made
basis.
that number up. So
We just said it has to be a big number.
Yeah.
So we figure we need at least 10. So basically, we're thinking that if people actually show up for the meetup, we can talk to people at the meetup about actually pooling money to do this.
Right.
But I figure we need at least 10 people to come for. I can look on how much is suite at MSG.
He also writes, do any of y'all think that maybe we should try and keep Calderon as a backup point guard? I know he's not a very good starting point guard, but I think as a backup veteran piece, he might be valuable. He always has good energy, and I know Fish and Phil speak highly of him. Thoughts?
Well, we have him next year anyhow.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should definitely look into getting a starting point guard, but I mean, if he's still on the books next year and he's our backup, that's fine.
I kind of feel that he also works he's almost a pretty decent shooting guard. Not for guarding people, but he's a pretty decent. How much do New York Knicks suites cost? Prices typically range from $7,000 to $25,000 for a New York Knicks suite. Why did we say $1,000? We're morons.
Okay, so we will be doing the next 2 meetups at a bar and all meetups thereafter.
How many people you could fit in a suite? It can't be more than 20.
Yeah, we would need 7. Can we cram 70 people into there so we can afford it?
I mean, yeah, I would. Yeah, that's pretty damn expensive. Maybe we'll still look into the prices of how much the suites are. Maybe it's better than we think, or
Yeah, maybe if it's a crappy game, it'll be a lot less, like a crappy opponent.
Yeah, I mean, Knicks are playing. Unfortunately, Knicks are playing well now, so it makes it harder. Remember, I bet last year toward the end of the season they were like, $100 you have 2 suites.
Looking at how bad our guards have been and how god awful our scoring is off the bench, are you surprised that we haven't signed Tony Roten? He keeps tweeting that he wants to play for the Knicks and how he loves the city of New York. He's not a great shooter, but he's really good getting to the basket, something we're 30th in the league at doing. I don't understand why Phil doesn't try him. He can score.
Are you surprised we haven't used a 10-day contract yet?
A little bit. I mean, with Early injured, we can get the injury exception, and we have 2 open spots now.
Yeah. What the thing is, you can only give 2 10-day contracts out to a guy, then you have to sign for the season. But let's say you think Roten's the guy. What's the harm in giving him a 10-day contract right now and seeing how he looks in practice at least? Or
there's no risk in a 10-day contract.
Yeah. Or what's the risk of it doesn't have to be Roten. There's got to be other guys in the D League that are worth giving contracts out to. I mean, one of our better players right now, 3 of our at least Galloway and Thomas really were 10-day contracts. Thomas we traded and then cut, but which was weird also. But But Galloway was just a flat-out 10-day contract, and it worked out.
Yeah.
So there's got to be someone we could. I don't know. It's just weird they're not. At the same time, I'm not dying for them to add to the rotation, but it is still weird.
Maybe that's why they're not in such a rush, because they're actually winning now.
Right, but you want to find good pieces going from. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
We got 2 more Jimmy questions. Would you
Okay.
take Aaron Aflalo over 2010 Gallinari? I would not. I love 2010 Gallinari.
Yeah, I would not either. I feel like Galloway did more. I loved watching. I love watching Gallinari drive to the basket. The most awkward drive to the basket, where like even if he wasn't touched, they were like had to be a foul there. No human being does that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that Gallinari better. But
I know y'all like to joke around about Melo, but watching him in New York since 2011, how great has his overall game been all year? It seems he's putting up 26 and 8 every single night.
yeah, his shooting percentage has been a little bit down, but I'd say as of late, he's playing as good as he's played the entire time he's been in New York.
I wouldn't say all year, but the last like 10 games or 10 or 12 games or so, he's been awesome.
Would you say this is the best we've seen from Melo? Like the last 10 games is the best Melo we've seen since he basically got here?
Yeah.
I mean, the shooting percentage is a little bit down, but he's playing much better defense, and he's passing the ball.
Yeah, those are the 2 things we complained about, and he's addressed those.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. People are also clamoring for us to get Fredette. Do you think the Knicks should give a 10-day contract to Fredette? I think this is in the question somewhere also.
Yeah, 10-day contract, no risk. If he can't play defense, he goes back to the D-League, and if he plays defense, you keep him.
And people are saying he's god-awful at defense.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, you see.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I almost would feel like I like as much as I wanted Fredette earlier on. I mean, if he's that bad at defense, let's just give it to I don't know, someone else. I mean, Tony Roten would make more sense. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, if he's terrible at defense, I don't really want him on the team.
I really do want this. I do like the fact that it's. I feel like everyone has to play defense to play on this team. There's less of. It's for so many years it was like either you play defense or offense and not both, and guys would be able to do both. It's been pretty incredible actually.
Yeah.
I feel like does anyone play right now that's not complete? Like, I mean, Calderons not really a two-way guy, but most of the guys on the team on the court are two-way guys to a certain extent.
Calderon tries. He's just not good.
He tries. I mean, Aflalo's not an amazing defender, but he tries. Galloway's not an amazing offensive player, but he definitely tries and contributes at times.
Yeah.
And Lopez has been pretty good on offense actually lately.
Yeah.
What do you think Lopez? Anything to the fact that like he's finally like trusting himself? Like, why has his offense been so much better lately than it's been in his entire career?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I wonder if at this point, like people just were never really giving him. Like he didn't have the confidence, or people just weren't running the. I don't know. They weren't running the offense through him before, so he didn't bother, or maybe he's been working on it. I don't know.
Triangle offense. Phil's a genius.
Phil is a goddamn genius.
Nick writes. First off,
Knicks right?
Nick writes about the Knicks.
Okay.
First off, let's make a trade for Brandon Jennings. A Seraphin, O'Quinn, Cleanthony Early, and Calderon are dispensable. In the offseason, 2 players that should be priority are DeMar DeRozan and Mike Conley. Now, Steven, the Raptors fan, says DeRozan does not play very good defense.
Right.
So that's no good.
Yeah, I'll give Steven some. I feel like Steven watches them actually. So Steven,
I bet he watches a little bit more Raptors games than we do.
Yeah. So then DeRozan doesn't make that much sense. Conley would be amazing. I feel like Conley would be a great addition.
Conley would be great. DeRozan would start and move Aflalo to the bench. Just getting DeRozan would deepen the team as is, and we can start Galloway or Grant. Aflalo off the bench gives us a legit scorer. Mike Conley would speak for itself with how it would affect the team. Also, Guillermo Willie Hernan Gomez, their draft pick of last year and former teammate of Porzingis, could come in and replace some of the bigs we have right now, like O'Quinn and Seraphin.
Fair enough. My guess is they're going to probably, if they can, keep him overseas for another year to like develop.
I think so too. I think they're going to go all in on trying to get Conley.
Yeah. Also, I think that when they're describing that guy Guillermo, whatever the hell his name is, first of all, if he comes to the team, I have to pronounce his name every week, which will be awful.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. We'll just have to call him Willie.
Yeah, it wouldn't be fair. And secondly, from what I understand, they said he was pretty raw. And it's pretty much a project. So you think he's probably going to be overseas for a couple of years before they even bring him over.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that Knicks are storing players overseas. They're doing things that smart ball clubs do.
Wade writes, I don't think we should do the Jennings trade. He's a free agent. We lose our future for 3 months. Also, if you've seen Jennings, he's had 1 good game and 3 bad games since he came back from his injury. So
I feel like unless you're trading stuff you really are expendable, like, would you trade I guess you want Calderon off the team for next year?
I think so, but for who, though? I mean, if Jennings isn't that good on defense and his shooting percentage sucks, is that any better than having Calderon on the team?
Right. I mean, if you're telling me you can trade Seraphin to get Jennings, I'm all in. But I don't want to trade up. I'm starting to think Calderon's not that bad of a guy to have as your backup.
Right. Yeah, I think the problem is that he's our starting point guard, and that's no good.
I like when he except for the Spurs game, which he couldn't shoot for some reason. Generally, he's been a really good shooter all year. When he looks for his offense, he really contributes. He's so much better on the court when he looks for his offense.
He is. The problem is he has such a slow release that he needs to be wide open to get that shot off.
Yeah.
When he does, he shoots a great percentage.
Yeah, but he's been playing. He's been super helpful.
He has. I also, though, I feel like his defense is just going to get worse and worse. He's already really bad. By next year, it could just be atrocious.
See, I disagree. I think at the point where Calderon is with his defense, it doesn't really get much worse from here.
Have you seen Kobe this year?
I've not seen Kobe this year. I've not really watched him much at all. But would you say Kobe probably just had stopped just trying to play defense?
Who knows with him? I feel like he's delusional, and he probably thinks he's still awesome.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Stewart writes, hi, gentlemen. Redrafting the 2015 draft again. Would you now take KP at the number 1 given the option? I think he has a little more potential than Towns.
I don't know. Towns is pretty good.
I think I would still take Towns. KP was clear number 2, though.
Yeah.
I like how ESPN had an all-disappointment team and Okafor was on it.
Okafor was on it?
Well, it was disappointing freshmen and sophomores. Well, Okafor, I guess they're talking about his suspension. His D isn't very good.
Didn't we know his D wasn't very good? Like, they kept saying his D wasn't very good. No one thought it. I don't know why you would think, he's not been a very good defender in college, but when he comes to the NBA, he'll be amazing.
Yeah, he's done exactly what we predicted him to do. He's disappointing.
Yeah, I don't really understand. Let's look at that. I want to see the game logs on these guys. Like, if you guys say it disappointing, like Moutier is disappointing. Who else was on the list?
It was an insider article, so they only showed a picture of Okafor and Wiggins.
Okay, is Wiggins disappointing?
Yeah, apparently his defense has been really bad this year, and that was supposed to be his thing, that he was like a lockdown defender. And he was really good on defense last year, but for some reason this year he's not. My buddy who's a big Wolves fan.
I thought he was good last year on defense, but I guess whatever.
Well, my buddy who's a big Wolves fan thinks that all the losing is getting to them, and like as soon as they start losing, everyone just checks out on defense.
I mean, looking at what Okafor's been doing lately, Okafor generally has been scoring. He puts up points for the most part. And that's what you expected from him. If you were drafting Okafor, you wanted a guy that would get get you 15 to 20 points a game, which he's pretty much doing, and gets you some rebounds. But why'd you expect more from him?
Because ESPN's dumb.
Yeah.
He also writes, why would you want Fredette on the squad? Entertaining to watch, yes, but honestly, he couldn't even guard Stephen Hawking.
That's a good line. By the way, Towns has been he's been good lately, but he hasn't been amazing lately.
Yeah.
He had a couple 8-point games. I mean, I feel like saying when you're drafting really number 1, you want to figure out who's going to be the best long-term wise. I think they're both going to be all-stars. I would still, if you had to do it again, I'd probably still take Towns over Porzingis, even though I like I'm glad we have Porzingis.
Oh, we didn't even mention Towns and Porzingis won Rookies of the Month again. 2 for 2.
Oh, yawn. I don't know. Do you think in the long run would you rather have Towns or Porzingis? It's just too hard to say.
It's too hard to say right now. I mean, obviously we have an attachment to Porzingis, so it's hard to even say at this point. But looking at it objectively, I'm saying it's really close right now.
Yeah, it's really Porzingis, he shows you flashes where you're like, holy shit, this guy's going to be so good when he comes into his own. And I just don't watch Towns on a regular basis. So I see him puts up points. I see like his stat line, but I don't watch him, so I don't really know how good he really is.
Their stats are almost identical right now.
Yeah, and I do. What I remember looking at is watching him play in person. I was like, this guy's really good, and I was surprised he had that range. But I don't know.
Yeah. Alistair,
They asked Greg Popovich. They were asking about Porzingis, and he had some funny answers. They were like, they said, "Did you scout Porzingis before the draft?" And he said, "We don't draft high, so why would I?"
Yeah.
I don't know why they were asked. Everywhere he goes, they pretty much ask. Everywhere the Knicks play now, they always ask everyone about Porzingis.
Yeah, no, it's true though. The Spurs haven't picked higher than like 22nd in like a decade.
Yeah.
So Alistair writes, "Hey, I watched the Spurs game and was surprised that the best plus-minus was Calderon tied with Galloway. He seemed to get torched by Parker and Mills, pass when he could take a decent shot, and the rare times he drove to the basket, he not know what to do when he got there, aimlessly looking for a pass when he should be putting up the layup. Am I missing something?" That is, sometimes these stats are misleading, and I think that was one of those times, because you're right, we mentioned that before, it did seem like he was getting torched. So
yeah,
it's just, I guess he was with lineup. He was probably out there with Porzingis, who was like torching hot all night.
Yeah, he didn't look very. I mean, like he didn't stay in front of Parker at all.
No.
I mean, I also felt near the end of the game. The one thing I faulted Fisher for is I felt like they were getting torched so much by Parker that it would made they didn't have enough of a Porzingis and Lopez out there together to like guard the paint.
Either that, or they should. I mean, if he kept torching Calderon, they should have just put in
Galloway.
But
Galloway got torched by him also. It wasn't like Galloway was doing that much better of a job.
I know. It was a tough situation.
Cool. We have more questions? Twitter?
That is it for emails. We do have Twitter.
What's going on Instagram?
I'll check that in a second.
What's going on Pornhub?
Don't know. Let's see.
Says Jay as he lies.
Keith writes, "Why did Fisher not use his 20-second timeout?"
I feel like the timeouts. I feel like the timeouts at the end of the games are kind of overrated. And either way, if you're telling me that like if Melo passed the ball, good enough. I don't care what Fisher would have drawn up. It probably wouldn't have been better.
Gucci writes, "Jimmer's killing the D League right now. Why haven't we signed him yet?"
He can't play defense.
CW writes, "Am I your youngest viewer at age of 4? I would say if you're really 4, you should probably not be listening to this show. Because
If you're really 4 and you wrote that question, then my son is stupid."
You do write. Your level of writing is above the 4-year-old level, so congrats on that. He also writes,
the ability to write is above the 4-year-old level. Just having the actual ability.
Yeah, the fact that you could get on Twitter is pretty impressive. He also writes, "Why should we even try to make the playoffs?" The answer to that is we have no draft pick, so there's no point in tanking.
Right. Bucks are on a 10-0 run, by the way, so I'm getting a little nervous.
Great.
5 minutes to go in the game. Knicks up by 10.
Gucci writes, "Do you agree that Melo's our best playmaker and Calderon is more of a shooting guard?"
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you think Melo could be our best playmaker.
Yeah, when he's in the mood to, he is.
Yeah. He gets more assists than Calderon that gets a game also.
Either George or Jorge writes, "What does Calderon say to Derek Fisher after every timeout? They're always talking." It is true. I see that during timeouts, they just get into a conversation. Did you notice that? I noticed that at the Spurs game.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I guess one like veteran point guard to like one like I like passing the ball. Me too. ¿Dónde está la biblioteca?
First time I checked y'all out on Ustream is from Keith, and y'all sound nothing of what I thought y'all would look like.
What did you think we'd look like?
Yeah, I don't know how to take that.
I could say I have no idea what. Okay, I'm not gonna invite the insults though. Go on.
Okay, this is another one from CW. He's definitely not 4 because he just wrote, "How hard is your erection right now for the Knicks?"
That 4-year-old, someone should watch his language. I can't believe a 4-year-old rang about erections.
You just showed your hand.
I think at 4
4-year-old.
you've never had an erection.
I definitely didn't know what it was.
You don't know a lot at 4.
Yeah.
You know at 4, you know what you know about? Poop jokes. That's what you know about poop jokes. That's what my son knows about. He knows about lots of poop jokes.
Poops and farts.
Poops. Oh, but he recently got into the fart jokes. He like the other day came home and was like, "Daddy, did you fart?" I'm like, I didn't fart. "Dad, did you fart? Ha 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 ha! Did you fart? Ha ha ha!" Cracked himself up. "Mommy, did you fart? Ah ha ha!"
So Sasha wrote realistic trades for Anthony.
Oh, you're reading this from Facebook?
Yeah, but this was he wrote it to our page, so
No, go for it.
I thought you'd miss it, and if you didn't, I thought you'd not have all the trades up.
Okay, go for it.
Am I right? Did you not have the trades up?
I saw it, but I didn't have any. I was going to click on them and learn about them as they go along. But go for it.
Okay, so this one's with the Heat. It's Melo for Dang, Anderson, Winslow, Green, and Johnson.
And a pick. I think that he said all versions with 1 or 2 picks.
Yeah, but going which way? And they're also throwing.
I assume the Knicks are getting picks, or else like
wouldn't
all
make
these
sense.
trades are Knicks giving up 8 round picks with them.
So the Heat are going to give up all those guys and a pick.
Yeah, sure, why not? What are we getting? We can't take on a whole new roster. There's like limits to our
We
team.
have 2 open spots. Anthony would make 3. We would have to cut 2 guys for this trade.
Do we really even want to trade Melo at this point? How much sense does it really make? You have to get a lot back for this to really make sense, because on the benefit, you really do. The team will develop having a star player or whatever you want to call Melo right now. It does benefit the team to have like the young guys to play with him.
Yeah, plus I really don't like this trade. Dang is past his prime. Anderson's almost out of the league. Winslow obviously would be nice. Green is played terrible all season, and I don't really know anything about Johnson. But
I don't know how good. I mean, Winslow has been good, but I mean, he's been okay as a rookie.
he's no
And I think-
Porzingis.
Yeah, I don't love this trade.
Okay, Bulls.
And the picks are all going to be high first round picks.
Right.
Or like, not high, I mean low first round picks, whatever.
Bulls. Anthony and Seraphin for Noah, Gibson, Snell, and Portis.
I don't understand why the Bulls will do this. In the sense of, isn't Portis, they've been playing, he's a center, right?
Power forward.
But they've been giving, like, when Noah doesn't play, Portis has been getting his minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to give us Noah and Portis? They're going to get back Sarah crap?
And Gibson. So they have no...
All their big,
Front court.
they're going to give us all their bigs. And get back Seraphin.
Right. They basically have Gasol, who has like 1 year left in the league, and Miratek.
Yeah, I don't think this makes a lot of sense for the Bulls. Why would they even? This is too much for the Bulls to give up. But they'd have to give up something else, like some guards or something. I don't see them giving up all those guys in one trade.
Okay. Let's keep going.
But would you do it on our end?
No, I don't think so.
Noah
either.
expires, right?
Yeah, Noah looks like he's done.
I mean, Portis looks good, but how many more? Also, how many more centers do we need?
Right.
I like Taj Gibson looks really good, but
he doesn't really impress me anymore. Okay, this one is with Houston. This is another situation where we would have to cut a bunch of players.
okay, we get James Harden. We get go on.
Anthony and Calderon for Lawson, Ariza, McDaniels, Jones, Decker, and Capella.
Okay, so we get everyone not named Harden and Howard.
Right.
I don't know.
I would say, again, there's no way Houston would do that. That's like all their young, good guys.
So the ideal way I'd want to trade Melo is to get high draft picks, which you can't get from any of these teams. And Melo won't be traded to it. He won't accept the trade to a team that would give us high draft picks.
Okay, last one.
Or what would you want? You want a guy, or you want like really good young players, which you're not going to get in any of these trades. Also,
Right. Last one. Well, I mean, you get young players with the Houston trade. It's just they're not going to give up 6 guys.
it only makes sense you're getting 3 solid players. You're not going to. We can't go quantity over quality. How much do you like? Do you like that trade?
It's all right. I mean, I like that one the best.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The last one is with the Warriors.
We got Steph Curry and who else?
Anthony for Iguodala, Livingston, and Barnes.
Can we accept that trade right now? That's my favorite by far.
I think that's probably the most unrealistic, though.
You really think the best team in the league with only like 2 losses, right? They have 2 losses now?
Yeah.
The best team, defending champions with only 2 losses, think they need to upgrade and get a Melo on their team? Yeah. But that would be would you do that in a heartbeat?
Yeah, I definitely would. But, I mean, it's not even like Iguodala probably only has a couple years left. Livingston is near the end of his career. I mean, really, you're doing it to get Barnes.
I feel like Livingston's still playing pretty well. I think you make him our starting point guard, we'd be pretty good.
I guess.
It'd be, I don't know. It's a good trade, I feel like. I mean, Barnes is the guy you're getting, I guess, the guy you really want. But, whatever. The Knicks aren't doing that. There's no way Golden State's making that kind of trade. It'd be a bizarre move for Golden State to make.
Yeah. Okay. Facebook questions.
Facebook. Evan writes, if the Knicks continue to playing this well for an extended period, would you still take the opportunity to trade Jose if the opportunity presents itself? So what do you need to get for Jose right now to like want to make the trade?
It would have to be a young player.
Oh my God.
Did the Knicks blow it?
Porzingis just hit something ridiculous from like 35 feet away. Just a ridiculous 3-point shot. Banked it off the
Nice.
glass.
Oh, no. The Knicks are up by 16. Sweet.
Yeah. No, it was a. I wasn't paying that much attention. I didn't see how it transpired. But Porzingis, here's the replay. It was like a second left on the shot clock, and he at least 35, 40 feet away just hit a beautiful jump shot.
So the Knicks are going to go 4-1 in that 5-game span.
Yeah,
exceeding
16 points.
all our expectations.
Yeah, and basically in a 12-game stretch, they were 6-6 when everyone they played was over 500. Well, I don't know if the Bucks are over 500, but everyone else was over 500. That was a ridiculous shot by Porzingis. How is this the happiest you've been since the 54-win season?
No, I was so happy during that 17-win season. No, the happiest I've been is when I found out they drafted Porzingis. This is the second happiest.
You're actually happier now. You were happier when you. Well, I guess it was like, oh, I predicted this. I got everyone. Come on, this is happier than even when the Knicks drafted Porzingis because now you actually know it's working out.
That's true. I mean, he was still a huge question mark when they drafted him. It was kind of like a nervous thing.
We talked about him. We didn't really know what do you have the scouting report? Can we find the scouting report on Porzingis?
I mean, we didn't think he was going to. I didn't take him on my fantasy team because I thought he was only going to play 15 minutes a game. And weren't we saying something like he's going to get like 8 and 5 and we'll be happy with that?
I wasn't even sure what exactly he'd be. I understood he was supposed to be a good outside shooter. I didn't really understand that he was supposed to be a really good defensive player. Like he just gets like crazy good blocks, crazy good rebounds.
He's got 5 blocks tonight.
I didn't really understand that he could be a legitimate center also. Yeah, he had there was one sequence where he had this great, he had an awesome block earlier in the game. I didn't realize how athletic he was. Like we were just excited about him, but we really had no idea how good he looked.
Yeah.
You had no idea when they drafted him that he would look this good. If I knew how good he looked at draft time, I'd literally be beating off on the Knicks that drafted him.
I'm glad that guy isn't really 4. Calderon, we would have.
What do you want for Calderon?
I don't think we could get what I want. I mean, I want
LeBron James.
I want a younger point guard or a draft pick, and I don't think you're going to get either for Calderon.
Well, what if you can get let's say the Spurs say we need him, we'll give you the 28th pick in the draft.
I don't even know if the 28th pick is worth. I mean, I feel like.
How high of a draft pick do you need to make it worthwhile? How high of a first-round pick? I know you're not getting the number 1 pick for him.
Right.
You would trade for the number 1 pick. You'd probably the first 10 picks would be hands down yes. But what pick would you be your cutoff here?
15 to 20.
The Knicks. This is great. The Knicks are playing so well tonight that they're taking each guy out so they can get a standing ovation.
That's awesome.
Melo came off. Everyone applauded him. They got Porzingis off the court. Everyone applauded him.
So Porzingis finishes with 15 and 6 with 5 blocks, 5 for 11. I'll take it. And Melo, again, 8 assists.
Wow.
Like we said, the Knicks do not lose when Melo gets over 5 assists.
I mean, anytime Melo gets anything else he does on the court, I don't even care. If he gets over 5 assists, he's had a great game.
Mm-hmm.
The offense just functions so much better. And also, this is the best. I mean, I don't know how that team that won 54 games, I don't know how they won 54 games. It almost makes no sense to me with that squad. But this team looks like it should be better than that squad.
Right.
I mean, I understand that team actually won 54 games, so they are the better team. But in a heartbeat, you would take this team over that team, right?
Yeah, definitely. That team you knew was a flash in a bottle because everyone was like, our entire bench was like between 36 and 40 years old. So you knew that wasn't sustainable.
We shot 3-pointers a game, and we hit a bunch of them, and just it seemed to work out. I mean, obviously having I don't understand how that team even won. I mean, Kidd played pretty well for us until he ran out of gas near the end of the season and just stopped playing. J.R. Smith had his moments. Kmart played well. It was a weird team to have won so many games.
Melo is 0.1 assists away from averaging his highest assist total of his career.
Which is?
3.8.
Well, you know what? He wasn't passing the ball earlier. I mean,
yeah, he's averaging way more than 3.8 lately.
Well, you know, here's what I was thinking also was that fact that up to this point, Melo basically hasn't had guys around him he could really trust on offense. And he does so much because he just didn't trust the guys around him. And even when in the 54-win season, it's how much do you really want to pass the ball to JR?
Yeah.
Now you have he's got to trust Aflalo. He's got to trust Porzingis. Calderon he probably trusts also. Even Stupid Hair, I think he trusts now. He's made some nice passes to Stupid Hair lately.
Yeah.
Yeah, this team looks fun. So I think for Calderon, I think pick 20 in the draft. I still do it, but anything higher than that, I'm not sure if I even want to do it, which is weird, bizarre for me to say.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Because I feel for next year, I mean, we need to get a better starting point guard, but he's a solid backup.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. By the way, Knicks are 13-2 when they score 100 points.
I like that.
That's flashed on the screen. Ralph writes, "Are we bound for the playoffs despite our current record?" Still think it's tough.
At the beginning of the season, I was saying that they're going to be fighting for that last spot with Boston, and I don't think anything's really changed. Boston's right ahead of us in the standings.
Yeah, I mean, first we have to worry about getting over 500 because we're still not.
Every time we get to within a game, we end up playing like a Cleveland or a San Antonio. It's so frustrating.
I mean, if you look at the standings right now, it's a tough. I feel like we're really playing for developing a team that will have played together for next year, add some parts, and we actually really start. Next year, we should be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But this year is going to be tough. I mean, let's look at the standings. Number 1, Cavs aren't going anywhere. They're in. They're going to be in. Bulls are probably not getting much. Bulls are number 2, playing surprisingly well. Raptors 3, Hawks 4. You're not touching that. The Heat are playing pretty well. Pacers, everyone's the Pistons at 7 are 5 games over 500. By the way, Knicks just won. The East is just a lot better this year.
Yeah, I mean,
Knicks,
there's if the Knicks get above 500, there'll be 10 teams above 500.
The Knicks need to go on a run. They've been a very up and down where they win 4, lose 4, win 3, lose 2. They haven't been able to maintain any kind of real winning stretch. And the schedule going forward, what we got in the schedule going forward? The schedule is supposed to lighten up, actually, coming up. So they got...
Yes. Yeah, the schedule definitely gets easier.
So the Knicks are playing their best basketball they've played all year. They got Boston coming up. You'd think they should be able to beat Boston. So here's the next 5. Boston, Brooklyn, Memphis, Philly, Utah. You would think at least 3-2 are there, right?
Yeah.
Boston, I think the Knicks are better than Boston, but they lost. Boston always gives the Knicks fits anyway, but they should be able to beat Boston. Brooklyn, yes. Memphis, I don't see it. Philly should be a guaranteed. And Utah, they should have a pretty decent shot also.
Yeah. I would say, and, Memphis isn't really playing great lately. Utah's up and down. Brooklyn and Philly stink. I mean,
but if you want to make the playoffs, the Knicks got to go 4-1 this stretch. The Knicks have to start like making up some ground now.
Yeah, because then it starts getting hard again.
Yeah, they got the Clippers, Charlotte. They just have to start winning a bunch of games in a row, which is possible. I mean, the Knicks are playing pretty well right now.
Yeah.
Bucks have been a major disappointment this year, huh?
They're a major disappointment every year.
I really thought they'd finally be good. And also, this goes to having young coaches. Maybe it's not the best. It doesn't work out for a lot of teams.
Yeah.
Bucks are actually trash this year, I guess. Okay, Shane writes, do you guys think if KP makes the All-Star game that it will hurt his career? With him as a rookie and being in New York, wouldn't it just be more pressure on him and cause fans to backlash if he starts hitting walls more? I know he's gone past expectations for us being labeled a project, but I'm just worried how New York fans will have mood swings with players. How's he doing in the voting?
He's 9th in for forwards.
So he's probably not making the All-Star team, at least from the fans.
Well,
voting.
he won't get starter. I mean, right now Melo's not even in, right? Oh no, the top 3 get in. I think Melo's 3rd or 4th.
Okay, but Melo, I mean, arguably, they could see why he would get in.
Melo might not even get in though.
Porzingis shouldn't be voted in by fans, and I don't see him being selected for the team.
He's not going to make it this year. But I mean, the fact that he's even up for consideration is
the fact that you've asked this question means things are good with Porzingis right now.
Right.
And if he made the team, I don't think it would really hurt. Do you think it really would hurt him? I think if anything, so he gets to hang out with some of the best players in the league and learn from them.
This guy's got a really good head on him.
You mean the guy that wrote the question or Porzingis?
Porzingis, every time he answers a question, it's like exactly what you want to hear. They ask
Why?
him about
What'd he
going out.
say?
He's saying like he's living with his parents so he doesn't get influenced by drinking and bad behavior. And like everything he says is like, that's exactly what I want to hear.
Maybe a combination of Melo and we don't realize the benefit of like a lucha crap chick. Maybe he's like teaching him how to be a good player. I don't know, Sasha. I don't know what the Knicks are doing. That's another thing also is that definitely sounds like he has a good head on his shoulders, but whatever Derek Fisher is doing seems to be correct because Porzingis is playing pretty well and not there was a point earlier where he was playing worse, and we were like, is he hitting a wall? But then Fisher made some adjustments, and now he's playing better.
Yeah, I mean
He had said earlier in the year, Fisher had said like, hey, we're not really sure exactly how to use Porzingis to his best potential, and now he's learning. So, Bruno writes, do you think Fisher is actually learning something? Or is he just got in touch with what everybody already knew and said a long time ago about shortening the rotation?
It seems like he is learning.
Yeah, we've bashed on Fisher a lot, but I gotta say, like, I gotta give him credit for how they're playing recently.
Yeah.
And the team just looks. I mean, it's another planet better than that last season. So that's quite a turnaround. I mean, like. The Knicks are far and away a better team than last year, which is a pretty big jump from one season to the next.
Yeah, I mean they're on pace to more than double last year's win total,
which is pretty. Got to give it to Fisher, and got to give it to Mr. Paul Jackson. What's his name? Never hear of here. Why can't he just why can't Phil just do interviews every once in a while? Like he was doing. Remember during the summer league, Phil would sit by the games and do a couple of interviews.
Yeah,
I would love. Could he just talk to the reporters a little more?
Where are they now? Quincy Acey is starting in Sacramento, and the last 3 games he's shot 90%.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So he's been playing well. Obviously, that means sounding like that.
Yeah, but that's just because Caspi got injured. So he's going to go back to the bench once Caspi comes back.
And also, he's going to go back to sucking because this is.
Yeah, I mean, he had a 3-game streak on the Knicks too. That doesn't mean anything.
AC's not that great. I mean, AC. If you couldn't play well in the Knicks last year, you probably aren't going to have a good NBA career because if you were decent, you got playing time.
Yeah.
Ralph writes, "Are we championship contenders? I honestly believe we are."
Really? Let's try and get to 500 before we talk about winning a championship.
I think if you mean by championship, you mean champion of the New York State, then yes, because Brooklyn's not going to catch us.
Right.
Pat writes, "Yeah, I'm just worried about us getting over 500 right now." Pat writes, would you say we're on the right course? That by the time with Phil Jackson 10 years here is 5 years, right? So we have 3 more years from here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think by the time it's Phil's last year in New York, we're on trajectory that we should be contending for a title by then?
It's looking good so far.
Yeah. Pat writes, "Porzingis trade value game. One of you rattle off a list of potential trades for Porzingis, and the other evaluates them and realizes you probably wouldn't trade him for literally anyone."
It's true. I think we did that at.
We did that pretty early on.
Yeah, and he's played much better since. So,
here, let me pull the list of. Hang on. Okay, I'm gonna say. I'll go through just like the better players from each team. Cleveland, you trade him for. I'll go for each team's best player. LeBron.
yes.
Okay. Bulls.
Butler.
Yeah, Butler. Trade him for Butler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you got it. Raptors, the Beast.
Who's their best player?
Lowry.
Lowry? No, I would not.
Okay. Hawks.
Horford?
Yeah, Horford.
No, I would not.
Heat. Bosch.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm assuming you're saying no to Bosch because of the age.
Yeah. Even though LeBron's like, only 1 year younger, I feel like Bosch is going to fall off a lot quicker.
I also feel LeBron, you probably have 5 years of still amazing basketball.
Yeah.
Even not quite level. You're contending for a title right away when you get him.
Right. I feel like LeBron is going to start falling off as early as next year, but even that falling off still puts him like as a top 10 player.
Pacers, Paul George.
Yes.
Yeah. Pistons, Drummond.
That's tough. I mean, he's getting like 16 rebounds a game, but he's shooting.
Did you miss that Lopez ate him for dinner?
Well, he's also shooting 37% from the free throw line.
There's no way I do this. Lopez made him look like crap. I don't think Drummond's as good as everyone thinks.
Yeah, I'm going to say no.
If Lopez eats you for dinner or lunch or whatever meal Lopez chooses, you're not as good as you're not as good as advertised.
Yeah.
Magic, Vucevic, the guy I'm supposed to be pronouncing.
Ooh,
Nikola, that's a tough one.
I know.
He looked pretty good.
That guy's really good. I might do that one.
I don't think I do that. I like Porzingis. Porzingis is more athletic. Celtics. I don't know who's their best player.
Let's just say no to anybody on the Celtics.
Hornets, Wizards, Bucks, Bucks. The Greek Freak.
No.
There's no one else down on this team on any of these teams. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Wizards. Wizards are pretty bad this year, by the way. Wizards.
John Wall.
Wall. Yeah.
No.
Because he gets injured too much.
Yeah.
Do you want to give like up a cause or before I like? Do you want to like if an explanation is needed? How about you give that explanation before I ask you?
Sure.
Was the compare and contrast? They are different. The end. I don't need to fill out the rest of these lines in this essay. Golden State Warriors. Anyone on the roster? Obviously, Seth Curry. You're going to say yes to.
Yeah.
Draymond Green. You're going to say yes to. I imagine.
Yeah, and I'd be torn on Clay.
Clay. Be tough.
Yeah.
Spurs. Tim Duncan. Spurs. I guess Kawhi Leonard, right?
Yeah, Kawhi is probably the only one.
Yeah. Parker.
No.
He's still actually not that old, and the team would look so much better.
Parker looks like trash like 3 out of every 4 games now.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. Thunder, Durant, and Westbrook.
Yeah.
Clippers, Chris Paul.
No.
No, dead air. Not going to explain. Go on.
He's
old. Just say he's old. Whatever.
Yeah, he's old.
Okay.
He's old and injury prone.
Dallas Mavericks,
And he's
the
a
guy that we want him to become, Dirk.
Same old.
Was that so hard? Marc Gasol, Grizzlies.
I would say no. It's the same reason. He just turned 30, and
We would have loved to get Clem Gasol in the offseason. Now you're saying you'd rather have Porzingis?
Yeah.
Okay, agree. Rockets.
Nope. Harden. Nope.
Harden's not old.
Harden's not old. I feel like Harden is a guy who he puts up good stats, but he's not.
I mean, the Rockets also won a ton of games last year. They were really good last year, and he was like MVP, legitimate MVP candidate.
Yeah, I don't know. Just something about him. I don't want him on the Knicks. He's fun to root against.
Is it because he looks like a terrorist?
No, his beard is overrated, but I don't know.
He's a good player. I wonder how well it would be how well it would be having Harden and Melo on the same team.
Also, it's like he has crappy defense, and his type of game is not a game that's going to age gracefully.
Jazz, Hayward.
No.
Kings, Boogie Cousins. That's an interesting one.
That's an interesting one. I would lean towards no.
I'd say no. I mean, maybe it's because Sacramento has been so bad for so long that I wonder how good he really is.
Yeah. Well, that and I don't know. I feel like the Knicks spent so much time getting good locker room guys, and then you want to get a guy like that in there.
Yeah, that's the other thing I'd be worried. So Porzingis, I don't know. I feel like he's going to be. I feel like what we've seen so far is just like his rookie year.
Yeah.
Trailblazers, Damian Lillard. I feel like you have to say yes to this.
I know.
It'd be the best point guard we may have ever had in the history of the ball club. Not in the history of the ball club, since we've been alive.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to do this. They would be a game-changing point guard to get.
But then he's another one that his defense is a lot worse than people talk about.
I haven't seen enough of it, but I think I would have to do this. Nuggets. Would you trade for Carmelo Anthony? I don't know who's on the team that you would Gallinari. Would you trade for Gallinari? I assume you're gonna say no.
No, there's nobody on the team.
Phoenix Suns, Bledsoe.
No.
I mean, you have to at least think about that one, right?
Out for the season, Bledsoe, guy who gets injured every season, Bledsoe.
Yeah, okay. Timberwolves. I can't think. Do they have anyone that's young that's really good? Pelican. Would you? So if you were offered straight up Towns for Porzingis, do you do it?
No.
I don't know what kind of planet this trade happens, but
I don't think so. I mean, their numbers are so close. I don't see the point.
Yeah. Either one's gonna be very good. It's hard. It'd be
I would not do Wiggins.
Pelicans.
Davis.
I see. You said no to Wiggins. I assume, right?
Right.
Yeah, Davis.
No.
MVP team always sucks.
Right, and it injured literally every single season.
Lakers. I assume you're trying to say yes to Kobe. We'll move on. I assume there's no one in the Lakers you'd say yes to.
No.
Okay. That was a nice 20-minute interlude.
Yeah.
Ralph writes, Derek Fisher wants to know where his apology is. Ooh, I think that might be from both of us, huh?
Yeah, that's not
and George writes, no apologies. We will jinx it.
Also, it's like, oh, you took almost 40 games to learn to cut a rotation down to 8 or 9. You don't get an apology for that.
I am sorry, Derek Fisher. You don't look like the worst coach of the NBA anymore.
I'm sorry it took you so long to learn what all the other coaches in the league know.
I am sorry, Derek Fisher. I don't think you're completely incompetent anymore.
I'm sorry that you still don't know that you're supposed to call timeout with 13 seconds left.
I am sorry, Derek Fisher, for ever doubting that you would eventually figure out that Sasha sucks and that Serafin shouldn't be on the court and that Porzingis is really good.
Yeah, we're deeply sorry that it took you almost half the season to figure that out.
I'm really sorry that I ever doubted you could figure out that Robin Lopez should be on the court a lot more, especially at the end of games. Okay. I'm sorry also for getting so mad at you for producing the worst season in the history of the ball club. And I'm sorry, Fisher, for ever doubting your in-game, your ability with X's and O's. Even though I found out you're terrible at that from your assistants. George writes, All-Star ballot. Are you guys surprised that Porzingis is the only rookie on here? And how good would it be if he actually made the squad? Wait, why is Towns not on it?
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that Towns wasn't on there.
Can you not vote for whoever you...
No, they changed it. You can vote for everybody now.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Because Minnesota, it's too cold to vote there. Do you think Minnesota is ever going to be good?
I don't know.
They haven't been good since that 1 year when Garnett played with
Phillips? Not Phillips. Sprewell.
Sprewell. Who's the third guy? The point guard.
Cassell,
yeah. They haven't been good since then.
I feel like they should be way better.
I feel like they draft. I mean, I don't know if they're tanking on. I don't know what the hell they're doing there.
I look at their team and I just I don't get it.
You've had so many top picks over the last decade.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I look at their roster and I'm like, that should be a team pushing 500 right now.
Yeah, they have. I mean, also just how many their draft picks. Let's see.
So right now, I just looked up the All-Star thing. Melo's in 4th right now in All-Star voting for the front court.
Okay, so
barely losing out to Drummond.
I mean, the last couple of years. So the Timberwolves this year they got the 1 pick overall. Last year, 2014, they got Levine at the 13th pick. Still a very high pick. Still a very good player. Then they got the 9 pick the year before. I don't know why they didn't have a 2012 pick. 2011, they got Derek Williams, which worked out well for us, I guess, right now. They had the 4 pick, the 5 pick, the 6 pick, the 3 pick, the 7 pick. Every year, they have a top pick.
I don't know.
They drafted Ray Allen?
It's a good move letting that one go.
How'd that work out? I don't understand. They had Garnett, and they drafted Ray Allen the following year?
What?
I mean, it's not even Wikipedia. This is Basketball Reference. They got to look this up. I mean, obviously, this must have been a game day. A draft day trade. Let's figure this out right now.
For Marbury.
Wow. Can you imagine how much better their franchise would be if they didn't make the Marbury trade?
They
Garnett and Ray Allen
traded
together?
Ray Allen and for another first rounder for Marbury.
Holy crap. Holy crap. What sending your franchise back.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even know that one happened.
Wow.
Didn't the pick they traded was Nesterovich? Didn't he end up going on Minnesota for a long time?
I'm not even sure. But wow. What a terrible trade that was.
Yeah, Nesterovich ended up. They must have traded him back to Minnesota because he started his career in Minnesota.
Do you think Garnett's bitter about that? He's like, I'm playing in the freaking tundra, and I could have Ray Allen, but you traded for Stephon Marbury. Thank you, assholes.
Yeah.
Okay. Josh writes, Lopez is finally showing everyone up, even though in the past games, if he doesn't score much, I feel like his defensive presence is still the best we've had in years. Do you think he can keep it up?
Lopez?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see why not. Everyone in Portland seemed to love him. He was keeping it up there.
Do you think he's comparable to Chandler's Defensive Player of the Year? Yeah, rookie.
Maybe slightly worse, because
I think he's not quite that level, but he's been freaking the best we've had since then.
yeah, definitely.
You like that signing now?
Yeah. No, I do. I think he's solid.
Okay, it's past. Josh writes, it's past Tuesday. Why hasn't Jimmy Fredette been picked up by the D League yet? If not Jimmy, what guard would you realistically like to see come over to the Knicks? I am not keen on Brandon Jennings at all. Jimmy Fredette hasn't been picked up by the Knicks or anyone else in the NBA since Tuesday.
Yeah, it's got to be the defense.
I mean, he must be a train wreck on defense.
Yeah.
I saw some kind of quote where like they said when he used to play, they'd run every play at him because they knew he couldn't stop anyone.
Yeah, that's no good.
Yeah, so that gave me pause about him. Maybe I'll give Rowan. Is Rowan supposed to play good defense?
Don't know.
I don't know. Let's give Rowan a try. If everyone's saying his name, it must be right. It must be true. It must be the guy to get.
Yeah.
Frank writes, after Calderons miss against the Spurs, will Carmelo ever again pass up a potential game-winning shot? Ever.
I know. That's my fear.
Stone writes, why are the Knicks so inconsistent? How can they be so good after being so bad a week ago?
Well, I read that everyone on the team agrees that meltdown against Chicago on the first was like the rallying moment of the season.
Yeah, and like Fisher went off on them. Apparently the motivation worked. It's also some part about like as teams really play together and they get teams that like starts gelling, they're gonna be inconsistent. They're gonna be a lot of up and down until they really get I don't know. Until they really gel, I guess. Because you have to figure the team, like a lot of teams have been playing with like most teams in the NBA or the good teams have like 7 or 8 guys that have been playing together for years. No one's been playing together for years.
Right.
We have basically our biggest like people like Galloway. What's it like to be on the team for a whole year? That's crazy. We have basically Melo's the only guy that's been here for longer than Melo's the only guy that's been here longer than Galloway. Oh, I guess Calderon.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy that we don't keep guys for more than like a year. But
No one that's on the roster besides Melo was here prior to last season. And of the guys that and going further, only Lance Thomas and Galloway, besides that, were even on the roster last year. And besides Calderon, Melo, Lance. So it's really like you got to think the team like that's one of the reasons is that they're still learning how they're still learning each other.
yeah.
Uh,
Early was on the team last year.
Yeah, he didn't play either year. So Grant writes, we haven't had a Beast report in a while. Has he been replaced by Lance Thomas, or is the Beast in hibernation? Thank you, Grant. I asked him to send us a reminder, and we remembered, and we read your bits. If you'd like to submit a bit to our show, we'll read them.
Or if you
Send
want
them
to
by
write
Facebook
articles or
email.
game recaps and stuff.
Yeah, or bits. Ralph writes, I think the podcast should be named So Close. Alex writes, can you guys comment on the Nets firing Lyle Hollins if you haven't already? Is Mark worried they'll hire Tibbs?
They also, I think they fired Billy King.
Why
would they do that?
They also fired the person that moved them to Brooklyn.
How would you feel if you were the new GM? It's like, all right, you're the GM of the Nets. I want you to fix the team. We don't have our own draft pick for the next 4 years.
Do you think they firing Hollins is a little bit ridiculous?
Yeah.
I mean, they're bad, but by design.
Not by design. They're just bad. They didn't mean to
not
be
like they're
bad.
tanking, but when you design a team where you basically trade away all your draft picks, you're going to be bad.
Well, I mean, I think they expected Pierce and Garnett and what's his face, Gerald Wallace to like actually be on the team.
I mean, but that's not the coach. That's not Hollins' fault.
No, I don't think it's the coach's fault at all. First of all, they lost Darren Williams, and so they're only
What they do? They cut him.
They bought him out. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, not Hollins' fault that you cut one of the guys supposed to be one of your best players.
And so their only point guard was Jared Jack, and he's out for the season. So they have no point guard. Joe Johnson looks so washed up. It's almost comical. And then you fire the coach. Like, who's going to coach that team into a bunch of wins?
Oh, and then you top it off by getting Bargs.
Right. So, Shane
Don't
Larkin.
worry, nothing's lost. We got Bargs.
Their starting point guard is Shane Larkin.
I mean, look at the roster. You basically said, hey, Knicks won 17 games last year and didn't even think Larkin was good enough to start. We'll get him and make him our starting point guard. Brook Lopez is surrounded by trash.
Yeah.
He's got Thaddeus Young is not bad. But outside of that, Jack would be good if he's healthy. Johnson looks like crap. Bargs is a disaster. You have Wayne Ellington, and Knicks didn't even think was good enough to have in the roster last year. So they cut him. When we get Ellington? Ellington was in the what trade did we get him in?
That was the Chandler trade.
Oh, yeah. The Knicks didn't think he was good enough to be on the roster when the team was meant to lose. Like, how do you fire? I don't understand how you fire Lionel Hollins for this crap.
I don't either.
Lionel Hollins should be allowed to fire the Nets.
Why didn't we get Ish Smith? He almost had a triple-double today.
Weren't we asking that last show and just saying he was on 13 different teams and we weren't feeling so bad about it, but he's been playing great since?
Yeah, but he's still playing great.
Yeah. Do we feel a lot worse about that now?
He had 18, 7, and 10 today.
Did the Sixers win?
They lost by 10, but it was to the Cavs.
Yeah.
You can't really count that.
Yeah. His game. Let me see.
I mean, he still only shot 7 for 21, so maybe that's why.
His numbers: 18 points, 18, 28, 12, 21, 4, 9, 18, 22, 4, even kicking 10 assists, 4 assists, 7, 11, 10. Yeah. It seems like he would have been a good guy to get.
Great.
I can see why the Knicks didn't get him based on his history, but that's also a thing like a guy like Tony Roten, which again, who the hell knows? But he's a guy that's really young, has skills, got cut by the Sixers, and we're like, okay, forget about him. No one wanted Ish Smith, and now he looks pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Gilliam, whatever how to pronounce it. Gilliam writes, when will you do the Sorry Fisher episode?
Never.
Well, we've been not nice with the Fisher this episode. Gilliam writes, Noah is a free agent this summer. You sign him for how much? How much do you think he'll get? I think he'd be a great in the triangle for his passing ability and intelligence, and he's a good defender if healthy.
I would sign him for the vets minimum and not a penny more.
Why does he suck this year?
He's done. He's washed up.
He looked great against the Knicks the first game.
Vets minimum. That's it.
It's also, how is he going to fit in? You figure next year you got Lopez and you got Porzingis, and I guess we still have a Quinn, and obviously he'd be an upgrade over Quinn.
Right. You could play him. You could find 15 minutes a game for him.
Right, but I feel like if you want him demanding. Like you're not bringing him in here to play 15 minutes a game. You're bringing him here to play more.
Well, then I'm not bringing him in.
Okay. I think he'll get a contract definitely, but I don't think he's. I think he's going to get. I feel like he's at the point of his career where he's going to get like a 1 or 2 year deal max.
Yeah.
Or he's going to sign for a 1 year deal, prove himself, and then get a bigger contract. Shane writes, I'm sure you guys watched the game the other night with the Spurs. The issues I have with everything is how quick fans turn on players. It was a semi-open shot when Carmelo passed, and everyone would. By the way, in that last shot, I know they never call this, but Porzingis was clearly fouled at the end of the game. Did you see that?
No, I missed that.
So when Calderons goes for the shot and he misses, Porzingis wants to go up and get the rebound. I don't know who it was on the Spurs, but someone clearly grabbed his arm and threw him down. But they never called it.
Yeah. No, I do remember that now. Yeah,
it was clearly a foul. I did not see the replay of the game replay, so I don't know. I didn't look at it closely, but when watching it, I was like, he's clearly fouled. I don't know why. Can they ever call that?
I don't know.
Okay. The issues I have with everything is how quick fans turn on players. It was a semi-open shot when Carmelo passed, and everyone would love Jose if he made it. If Carmelo took the shot, everyone would have said he's a ball hog. In the end, I think it was the best shot we took. Even without a timeout, who knows what could have happened, but it shows Carmelo being a better leader, and stats show Jose shoots 58% on threes when he receives a pass. Yes.
It was a good look.
It was a good look. I think people were... Some guy, I was listening to I think it was WFAN afterwards, And some guy called up, like, he was almost crying about how the Knicks just suck. They always disappoint him. How could Fisher not call the timeout? He just blew that last play. How do you pass the Calderon? I was like, what the hell? Are you watching the games?
Yeah.
Like, how are you really this angry about this? And how the Knicks are looking pretty good right now. I feel like most normal fans were like, hey, great game. Wish we had won that, but the team looks great lately, and I'm really happy.
Exactly.
Yeah. What did we learn today, Jay?
We learned that we are going to have a Knicks meetup on the 29th.
We should post it on the Facebook.
Most likely at Stout. I'll make an event tomorrow morning.
Do you want to call Stout?
Should we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell them the Knicks podcast is coming, so you might want to close down the bar for us.
We're coming.
Make sure there's no private parties that night.
We're coming, and we're bringing 3 to 5 people.
We should make sure there's no private party so that we don't get there and there's no like whatever, like once in a while bars are rented out.
Yes, that is true.
That would be disappointing.
You know what? I'll put up the event. I'll give it a few days to see if people sign up, and then I'll call them and say,
Can you accommodate?
Yes.
Marc and Jay.
Marc and Jay plus 1 or 2.
Who do you think I'm pulling out I have the box score up for today's game against the Bucks. Who do you think had the best plus minus on the Knicks today? At a plus 34 for the game.
Plus 34. Plus 34. Jesus.
Yeah.
I'd say I have to be a starter to have that much. I would say.
I'll give you a hint. I'll let you guess. Go.
Was it Melo?
I'll give you a hint. He missed the last shot against the Spurs.
Calderon, huh?
Yeah, plus 34. I don't think that lies. I feel like he had a good game.
Yeah.
His stats aren't that great. He had like 9. He had 7 assists though. That was big.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if Calderon could get like 7 assists a game. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
And a minus 19 in 16 minutes played. What do you think?
Minus 19. I would say Grant.
And you are correct, sir. And with 2 minutes played, Kyler Quinn, a sighting. It's probably better doing an 8-man rotation, but I do want Grant to keep getting minutes because I feel like he's definitely a key to our future. So
yeah.
And Admison, Seraphin, and Sasha, I hope they're like playing avid games of Pinochle or whatever they're. I hope they're having fun on the bench. You think maybe they have like those. What do you think they do in the What do you think they do in the bench? Like you come into the games, you just have good seats for the games. You're not going to play.
Yeah.
And they can't sit there with like a video game system.
Oh, yeah, maybe. You'd think
They can't be playing Candy Crush on their phone.
You'd think he'd try to bring a DS or something.
Yeah.
They should give Sasha a DS. He's not doing anything else.
I prefer it actually. Every time I look at the bench, I saw Sasha playing like Candy Crush. I'd be like, "Oh, good, things are going correctly." He has no plans of coming in the game. Okay.
We have a second question from We the Southwest. Since Cole Aldridge is on the Clippers, do you think Woodson talks to him now? He actually started getting playing time recently. Maybe he finally figured out who he was.
Remember how far our franchise has come. We realize that if we realize we're at a point where we no longer need a guy like Cole Aldridge to get minutes on our team.
It's nice.
I mean, we were clamoring for minutes for Cole Aldridge.
Yeah, we were.
Wow.
All right. So thanks for listening, everybody. At NY Knicks Podcast on Twitter, Vine, and Instagram. The New York Knicks Podcast at gmail.com. Leave us an iTunes review. Facebook page.
I have a PER of 19.97 this season. Who am I?
Porzingis.
Cole Aldridge.
Nice. All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye.
I've switched a lot of things in my life, but it's never worked out. I switched to being a vegetarian, but ate more bacon than ever. Every time I switch lines at the grocery store, I never pick the fast one. But one thing that totally worked out is I switched to Metro PCS and got a free Samsung Galaxy.
Make the right switch too. Move to Metro PCS and get a free Samsung Galaxy J7 with a huge 5.5-inch screen. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figured out. Coverage not available in some areas. Plus sales tax. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details, terms, and conditions.